What if I told you your desktop wallpaper might be making you less productive or even less creative? You see, scientists have actually studied this, and today I'm going to show you what the most productive wallpaper looks like, backed by real research. Most of us stare at our screens for hours every single day, whether it's your desktop, your laptop, or even your phone. But we rarely stop and think, what's in the background? That image might seem harmless, but science says it could be quietly shaping your mood, your focus, and even your creativity. And since I'm a productivity nerd, I wanted to figure out what the best wallpaper actually is. Now, I'm not saying that changing your wallpaper is going to change your entire life. That's kind of silly. But on the margin, it could be the difference that pushes you just a little bit over the edge into a day that is productive versus one where you give up or throw in the towel. If you stack enough of those together, it starts to add up. Plus, it's just fun. So let's dive in. All right, let's get into what the research actually says about designing a productive wallpaper. First up is color psychology. It turns out colors aren't just about style, they actually have an impact on how we feel and how we perform. For example, blue tones have been shown to increase calmness and focus. That's why a lot of tech companies, think Facebook, Zoom, Twitter, lean into the blue branding. It keeps people locked in. Red, on the other hand, tends to create urgency and stress. It's good if you're trying to attract attention or sprint through a workout, but not so much for focus. And green is a sweet spot for balance. Studies have shown that it can reduce eye strain, help keep you centered, and might even subtly encourage a sense of growth and calmness. So in short, for focus, we want to target those blue tones, and for a sense of calmness and creativity, we want to target a little bit of green. Now, beyond just color, what about the contents of the wallpaper? And here's where it gets interesting. Researchers have found that simply looking at images of nature, like forests, oceans, or mountains, can actually recharge your brain's ability to focus. Basically, when you see natural landscapes, your brain enters a gentle, restorative mode. The technical term for this is soft fascination, which just means you're engaged but not overwhelmed. It's like giving your mind a quick spa treatment without leaving your desk. But here's the thing, what if you don't just want to focus, you want to be more creative? The psychologist Richard Wiseman did a fascinating study on this, and here's what he found. He found that people looking at ambiguous images, like the classic duck-rabbit illusion, scored higher on creativity tests right afterwards. Basically, when your brain is forced to shift perspectives, it breaks it out of its normal patterns. And when you disrupt those patterns, you get more creative ideas. Okay, but so how can we actually apply this? If you want a wallpaper that helps you get more done, here's what the science suggests. First, stick to cool colors like blue and green. We talked about that a little bit before. Second, choose natural scenes, things like forests, oceans, or mountains. Anything that feels calming but expansive. And then third, if you want a little creativity boost, pick something that is a little surreal or out of the ordinary. It can even be a little element in the wallpaper that doesn't quite make sense. Based off of his study, Richard Wiseman created a wallpaper that was a bunch of arrows all pointing up with one arrow pointing down in a different color. That uniqueness gets you thinking in a slightly different way. And one bonus tip, keep it simple. Too much visual clutter in your wallpaper can be distracting, even if it's a beautiful photo. The goal is to create a mental backdrop, not a visual fire hose. You don't want to be looking at this all the time. It's just a subtle background to assist you in the things you want to do. So now if you're wondering what this actually looks like, I will show you. My personal recommendation, based on everything that we covered, is this photo. A minimalist blue-toned mountain landscape with a floating tree in the middle. It's calming, it's expansive, uses the right colors, and it's got a little bit of uniqueness and creativity that gets you thinking outside of the box. So now you know. If you end up changing your wallpaper, try it out for a week. Let me know what you think. I'll see you next time.